Hi, James Hayes, Don's Appliances. Today I'm joined by my friend Rob Sobek.
Hi.
So today we're going to be talking about purchasing clearance items and upsides and downsides. And I think clearance kind of covers a broad spectrum of things. It could be maybe overstock or discontinued item, floor displays, returns, etc. So what are your thoughts on that, Rob?
Me personally, there's a lot of liability that the consumer takes on to save that money. Not painting a negative picture here, but the idea behind the clearance is moving inventory that we need to, whether it be a floor model that just turned 1 year, 18 months, 2 years old. It was never used or anything, but we do need to turn inventory, turn our floor, keep it fresh. We want the customer to take delivery within 14 days
Yeah.
of making that purchase. So I face customers in new construction or remodel that are interested in a clearance item, and then they start talking about getting a storage unit and things like that. Now, number of times the product gets moved increases by doing that. So that's a little bit of a curveball for sure.
Sure, and your warranty is going to start once you take delivery. So if you buy it, like many out of box pieces will still have the manufacturer warranty, but you're talking about storing it for 9 months. Now, once it gets installed, you're left with 3 months of warranty. So that's something to take into consideration. A lot of times, if you just need something quick, a floor display might have some dents or dings or scratches on it, but you can save substantially there. And if it doesn't bother you, then great. We have our outlet section over there, and a majority of that is what that is things we went to deliver. You unbox it, and we get a surprise. You get a surprise. The manufacturer sent us a dented item. It gets refused, and it comes back, and then we have it at a reduced price. So I think in that situation, maybe not terribly risky. To your point, it's getting transported a little bit more. It's being transported out of box. There's a potential it may get another dent or ding. We try to be very careful with it once it leaves the showroom, but there's always that possibility. Although I feel like a lot of the stuff will probably get dents and dings throughout its lifespan anyway.
True, but somebody spends money, whether it was discounted or not. They want it to look perfect, and I've had that conversation of, we have this floor model for this much, and they ask, is it perfect? Is there anything wrong with it? Like, usually the answer is no, it's not
Yeah.
perfect. Whether it be getting it installed on the floor, the transit time here, customers touching it, whatever the case may be, things happen while something's sitting on a floor, and the logistics of us as a company having an outlet section. We don't just have it here in Canonsburg, but we also have one in Erie at Dugan. So we have one in Morgantown at our showroom down there. And all deliveries, outside of Erie run out of Robinson. So number of touches is a big thing that gets talked about in our warehouse for brand new items. But the liability gets exponentially increased number of touches when it comes to an out of box piece. And we can do everything that we can, cardboard corners, wrapping in that shrink wrap, taping down any of the burners on a range, or taping down the shelves inside a refrigerator, appliance blankets. All those things can happen, and damage still happens.
Sure.
Because now all that manufacturer packing, where all the styrofoam, all the cardboard, that's all gone, and there's a very good chance there's damage already on it when somebody's buying it, let alone
Sure.
transfer there. So I mean, that's a risk that you take by saving that money for sure.
And then sometimes out of box, I mean, clearance items can be stuff that was maybe DOA on delivery and it's already been serviced by the time you purchase it. And you might see a little bit of a heavier discount, but that's something to keep in consideration too, is that unit may have already had some sort of issue, it's going through service, they repaired it, tested it, in all reality, it should be fine. But occasionally you might get something where there might be some extra service problems coming down the road. So that's something to consider. And then in very rare circumstances, because we don't bring back used product, but occasionally we might have something that's used over there. And in a lot of cases, used product does not come with a manufacturer warranty. So it's going to ship with a 30-day warranty through us. So once you're out of that initial 30 days,
it's on you.
Yeah. And then some of that could be stuff, like here in Canonsburg, we have live displays. Our whole Gaggenau kitchen is live. We have live monogram. And in a lot of instances, those are going to ship with just a 30-day warranty. So you can get a Gaggenau wall oven for half price, but then their 5-year warranty that you would typically get, you don't get it all. So something to keep in mind there.
And the word clearance, we talked a lot, floor models, out of box, returns, refusals, damage, there is another side to that in clearance being overstock. We, as a large appliance supplier, we try to buy the appliances right, we'll put it that way. And in this age of new energy guidelines and new UL guidelines happening every 27 minutes, it feels like. You have model numbers phasing out and new model numbers coming in, and a manufacturer having a lot of the old one, but they got to get to the new one because of the new guidelines. So, we have a stack of Frigidaire radiant electric cooktops over there that are brand new in the box, but marked down on clearance. I don't remember the price, but it was very aggressive.
Yeah, that's you'll see that sometimes. In which case, jump on that, because why wouldn't you? It's like, you're going to get your manufacturer warranty. It's brand new in box. Like, there's very little downside to that.
A vast majority of new model numbers that come out in our in our industry, a vast majority, I'd probably say 75 to 80%, is purely about changing something about the electrical usage, the water usage, adhering to some new guideline. It is not all that frequent that a new model number comes out and it's a new model.
Yeah.
Like 20% of the time is probably rounding up, frankly.
Yeah, it's sometimes it's some superficial stuff, or maybe it's a new handle, or, KitchenAid just launched all the refrigerators with that new interior on it. But
or
it's
the fingerprint resistant stainless, the finish on the outside.
So if you can find an old variation of that brand new in box, I would have zero hesitation to buy that. And in all honesty, I probably wouldn't have a hesitation buying a floor display either, depending. It's all on maybe like a garage fridge, or, my washer and dryer's in my basement. So, I dented mine installing it the other day. So it's like, things happen to it. No one sees it. And it's kind of like, who cares? Save a couple $100.
Well, everybody wants it to be perfect, but that's the thing. There are more liabilities when you're buying clearance or outlet. But on the same token, you still have humans delivering it. You have, humans that packed it in the factories and things like that. And we've all, been on site or gotten a phone call about someone unpacking a brand new appliance that was clearly packed on a Friday. Is kind of the terminology that we use, where it looks like it got hit with a forklift in the side, but the packaging was absolutely perfect.
Yeah, I had an over-the-range microwave go out about 4 years ago, where the box was perfect and it looked like someone smashed it with a sledgehammer. The inside, the ceiling of the inside was actually touching the bottom. So
I've opened a brand new refrigerator out of the box, perfect carton, and there was a pizza box inside.
No.
So that was a Friday fridge for sure.
Yeah, all day. So, but you can actually browse a lot of our clearance stuff on the Don's Appliances website. If you go log on to donsappliances.com, there's going to be a tab at the top that says clearance, and it'll show you everything, and then it'll even let you know where it's at. And most of those are pretty accurate. There's a couple of pieces that got transferred to our outlet that maybe the website hadn't updated yet, but generally you can see where it's at, and I would call ahead just to make sure it's where you're going, so you can see it.
You can chat online too, and they can look up inventory. They can call the showrooms. Our online team does a great job updating our clearance section. But just come into the store if you have any doubts about it.